following up on the pudding blushes that we did very recently, we of course have to cover the pudding bronzers from this same line, and that is what today's topic is all about. So this one is called Wet n Wild Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer Review Swatches, Shades, and Wear Test. We're going to get right into it because they are basically the same as the blush. It's the same formula. They are just different colors, and that gives you different opportunities for how to use them. So the pudding bronzers at a glance. The Wet n Wild Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer is a lightweight mousse cream to powder bronzer with a soft matte finish. It is available in 5 shades priced at $6 each. And as you'll see coming up in the pricing section, drugstore pricing always varies depending on where you go. The formula is cream to powder with a soft and blurring matte finish. The packaging is a frosted plastic pot with a twist-off lid, and availability, which we'll also discuss shortly, it is still being rolled out and expected to be at major retailers. I have all of the Wet n Wild Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer shades. I am doing a detailed review with swatches and a star rating. I will help you to find your best shades as we figure out if the formula works for your skin type. The first section is details, claims, and price. The pudding bronzer comes in a frosted plastic pot with a twist-off lid, and it comes in 5 shades. The formula is marketed as a cloud-soft, mousse-like pudding bronzer that is designed to feel bouncy in the pan and blend easily on the skin. According to Wet n Wild, their claims that the bronzer has a velvety texture that should apply smoothly and create a soft focus, blurred matte finish that is meant to mimic a natural sun-kissed look. The brand also claims the formula offers weightless wear, allowing you to build it from a sheer wash of bronze to a more defined warmth without the makeup looking heavy or cakey. The price is $6 each, and that keeps it firmly in the affordable drugstore makeup range. So again, just has me questioning why other brands are very expensive at the drugstore and Wet n Wild is not skimping on the formula. They're not skimping on the packaging. The product is made in Mexico, and they're still keeping that price basically as one of the lowest price points that we've seen at the drugstore. So I know inflation and tariffs and all those things, but I do firmly believe that a lot of brands just creep up the prices because they think you will deal with it. You will keep paying for them. Okay? Anyway, the pricing also makes it an accessible option for those looking to try a mousse textured bronzer without the high price point. Where to buy? So if you're wondering where on earth do you find this, it is still spotty. Okay? So Walmart is the most reliable option. They have all 5 shades on their website, and they kind of come and go. It seems like they get a very small stock, but it does come back. When you go in store, so right now it's Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, you might find like 2 to 3 on the display. It depends. So they're $5.97 at Walmart, $6.99 at Walgreens. But this bronzer line, the Mother Fluffer line, is part of the 2026 new products release. So if we just give it some time, I do expect wider distribution. I would fully expect Amazon going on Wet n Wild's website because they still have a banner at the top that says new 2026 coming soon. And these products always make it out to every retailer that carries the brand eventually through the course of the year. Next are the ingredients. Again, I will not read you this list. I have no idea how to pronounce these things. I will give you the highlights. The bronzer is primarily silicone base, which helps create a smooth, bouncy mousse texture and a soft focus finish on the skin. So the key ingredients here are your dimethicone cross polymers, and polysilicone 11, and that's what gives you that slip, blendability, and blurred look. When I posted the blushes on Reddit, I did get some questions about, well, since it's silicone based, wouldn't it be hard to blend? Absolutely not. Quite the opposite. It blends into the skin like butter. I also read some reviews where people were saying it transforms from cream to powder in the middle of you blending it out, which makes it really hard to blend out. I have not experienced that with the blush or the bronzer. I'm not doing anything specific or different. So I don't know if people that are experiencing that are blending super slow or distracted by something or putting it on and kind of coming back a little bit later. This isn't like a concealer or whatnot where you can put it on and let it sit a little bit and then go back and blend it out. I mean, you should do it all in one go. I feel kind of silly saying that, but I've seen it and I want to address it. But anyway, so this pudding bronzer formula has other emollients in it, and I don't know how to pronounce all of them, so I'll just call out cocoa seed butter. We're all pretty familiar with that, right? And that's how this formula is very flexible, so throughout the day it doesn't get dry or stiff. It doesn't set dry or stiff, right? And another ingredient I don't fully know how to pronounce, but it's an acetate, and it also has a form of vitamin E, sorbic acid. These all just function as preservatives, so it's very shelf stable, right? So summary so far, the price is $6 and it is a very affordable drugstore bronzer with 5 shades. Formula is Cloud Soft, mousse-like cream to powder with a soft matte finish. Packaging, frosted plastic pot with a twist-off lid. Where to buy, Walmart is the most reliable, maybe Walgreens, CVS. Depends on how lucky you are that day. Expanding to Amazon and the official website. Main ingredients are silicone-based for blendability, emollients, and vitamin E for the skin benefit. Moving on to the texture and formula. This is a moussey texture. It feels like a cloud, right? It's bouncy in the pan. It's that formula where you can stick your finger in and you can push it all around. And then when you put it on your skin and it makes contact, it really melts in. So it applies like a cream but sets to a soft powder finish. It really is a true cream to powder formula with the slight caveat of just like the blush, it doesn't 100% dry down. It maintains a little bit of tack. So once you blend it out, the bronzer gives you that smooth, blurred matte effect that really diffuses the look of texture and delivers a natural sun-kissed warmth. The bronzer feels lightweight on the skin and builds easily, allowing you to layer from a sheer wash of color to a more sculpted bronze without it ever looking heavy. For application, you can do your fingers or a brush. And once again, I'll say here, I think it's just a little bit weird. It's a money lost opportunity for Wet n Wild to not come out with a pudding blush bronzer brush and market it alongside of the product. Again, that's not necessarily Wet n Wild's style. It is the style of their competitors. But the pot is smaller, and I know I've seen with the e.l.f. putty blush and bronzers, people have complained, well, the pot's too small for me to fit a brush in. And obviously e.l.f. has dedicated brushes for those, but they've had brushes in their line for 10 years that also fit into the pot. So whatever. So your fingers obviously fit in this pot. Otherwise, I would go for just a standard generic stippling brush. I have Wet n Wild's discontinued stippling brush. I have e.l.f. stippling brush. I have the e.l.f. putty bronzer, putty blush brushes. Those will all fit into the pot and work with this formula. So you'll simply tap the bronzer into the high points of the face where the sun would naturally hit you and blend it outwards. And this way you'll get controlled placement, but you'll want to build in thin layers so that you can adjust that intensity. And it never disturbs the makeup underneath. It doesn't pull up your foundation coverage or anything like that. So summary, texture is soft, bouncy mousse that melts into the skin. Finish is smooth, blurred, matte, lightweight on skin. Application is brush or fingers, and you can tap it to blend it outward. It is buildable, so you can layer it from a sheer wash to define bronze. And it does stay a little bit tacky, but it will blend easily over your other makeup. So some of those products, because of its formula, you can layer it over powders and liquids and creams, and you can layer the pudding blush and bronzer together, and just everything goes very easily. It's no muss, no fuss. You can also do these with a sponge. You're just going to get that more sheared out look. And if you want that, you want that. Next, swatches and shades. So the pudding bronzer lineup has 5 shades ranging from light to deep. They're giving you a mix of neutral, warm, and slightly cool undertones. The swatches that I show in my blog post, the picture, are on fair skin, but I'll give you the descriptions of these shades going in alphabetical order. So Beige Please is a light, neutral beige bronzer with a soft warmth. It is the lightest shade in the range. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but me kind of jumping around a little bit, the shade Cool Brew is actually the lightest shade, but it doesn't really show up on my skin well. So that puts Beige Please at like the next lightest shade for fair skin that like actually shows up and does something. So I kind of count Cool Brew out, I guess. But it still reads subtle on fair skin, the Beige Please shade. So it just makes it very suitable for a gentle warm bronzer, or if you want to contour with it, it would be suitable. Cocoa Crush is a medium tan bronzer. It's balanced with its neutral to warm undertones. It'll give you that noticeable warmth, but it won't lean into orange. But it'll still be more defined than Beige Please. They're very different. Cool Brew is the weird one. So it is a cool shade, as the name implies. It's a muted brown. It kind of leans a little olive. It's a strange one. I've never seen or even owned a bronzer like this before. It might work well for soft contouring. If you really don't want a lot of warmth, it just kind of disappears on my skin. It's not lacking pigment or coverage. It's just weird. You'll have to see the swatch. Holy Mocha is a deep, rich brown with neutral undertones. The shade delivers strong definition and depth and is best suited for medium to deep skin tones or targeted contour placement. I can use all of these on my skin, just carefully placing and blending and building. And I'll get into that in the review portion. And then the last shade is Toasty Maple, and this is a warm golden brown shade. The warmth is really noticeable here. That's where you're going to get that sun-kissed effect and kind of blow Cocoa Crush out of the water a little bit. So on fair skin, Beige Please, probably my most favorite shade, is the natural and forgiving option. Cocoa Crush is leaning more just like pure bronze, but it won't overwhelm your complexion. Cool Brew, again, maybe on you will work as a contour style bronzer. I don't know. It disappears into my skin. Holy Mocha and Toasty Maple are quite deep on fair skin, so you'll have to be really careful with those, but they are suited for deeper skin tones. So again, if you're like me, just give it a controlled sheer application. And I'll show you all of those colors in the blog post if you're reading along. But summary so far. So we have 5 shades: Beige Please, Cocoa Crush, Cool Brew, Holy Mocha, and Toasty Maple. Beige Please is light neutral and subtle on fair skin. Cocoa Crush is medium neutral warm with noticeable warmth. Cool Brew is muted. And Holy Mocha and Toasty Maple are your richer shades, better for medium or deeper skin tones, or a controlled application on us pasty white people. Now the review. After I tested the Wet n Wild Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer in multiple ways, it has come across to me as an easy, low-effort bronzer that delivers a soft, natural look without overthinking your application. The texture is a lightweight cream mousse that turns velvety on your skin, and it blends with very little work. The bronzer applies best with a stippling brush or your fingers, so the stipple brush again will fit into the pot, and that makes it practical for everyday use. It blends cleanly with a brush, and it can be sheared out even more if you want to go with a sponge. So once it's on the skin, you get that matte blurred finish that smooths the appearance of texture, but it doesn't look flat or dry. So to kind of rate this experience here, I would give it a 9 out of 10 for blendability, 8 out of 10 for buildability, 9 out of 10 for a blurring effect, 9 out of 10 for longevity, and ease of use, 10 out of 10. So you can definitely build it up. So it's pretty hard to mess up this bronzer. It never looks heavy or cakey. It doesn't patch. It doesn't remove the coverage of the products underneath. And even though it is cream to powder, again, it doesn't 100% dry down. There's a slight tack, and that, I believe, helps it layer with all of your other products for that seamless look. And this is really a versatile product. That's one of its strong points. So if you're someone that wants to, like, I don't know, buy one of these bronzers and you want to get the most out of your money, you want to use it up, you want to use the whole pot up, or maybe you bought a shade and you just didn't like it, I want to talk about these tones and what you can do with them. So wear time is very impressive, so they don't fade throughout the day just like the blush. I really can't see a difference at end of day. And then I also will complain again here about Cool Brew. So it just blends into my skin so softly that it essentially disappears. It's the lightest bronzer I've ever owned, so I really don't think I'll be reaching for that shade very often. And depending on your skin tone, it might work for you, I don't know. But the other shades are just more impactful. And depending on your skin tone, and I feel like you, with this shade range, you'll really get to do this with fair skin, is have these double as bronzer and contour. So I included some pictures in the blog post where I doubled up and I explained I use this shade as the contour, this shade as the bronzer for my look. So I use these as blush, as bronzer and contour, and then I took it another step further and I was thinking, what if you put this in your brows? So I got a angled brow brush and made some hair-like strokes with it, and it gives you that soft kind of blurred look. So you can really take this product above and beyond. You can use it in at least 3 different ways. I have a picture of the brows as well. So when thinking about similar formulas, I would say Wet n Wild falls neatly in between effortless and forgiving. So I aspire one day to compare this bronzer to e.l.f.'s Putty Bronzer, and we'll talk about the texture and all that good stuff. But of course it pairs seamlessly with the Mother Fluffer Pudding Blush, which I have a review on, a podcast on, all of those things. They're not going to disrupt each other. And then in the blog post, I have a table of just a quick reference breakdown, everything you need to know about this bronzer. So if you are wanting to build a drugstore routine, this bronzer will definitely fit in, and I would put this in my list of best Wet n Wild products of all time. I have a blog post on that. It stands to be updated with a lot of things that they've released. But this bronzer does stand out for its blendability, longevity, and ability to deliver a natural bronze finish with minimal effort. So digging a little bit deeper into my wear testing and the longevity, I put on my makeup in the morning and it usually ends up on for like 10 hours or so. I mean, it holds up. Again, I'm not seeing fading or anything going on. So once applied, it stays tacky, and that helps it adhere to the skin and it won't fall apart on you. But it layers smoothly over both cream and powder products without disturbing what's underneath, and it doesn't do anything to your foundation. It doesn't patch up as time goes on. In terms of longevity, the bronzer lasts longer than expected for a lot of these cream to powder formulas. Oftentimes they do end up fading. They're kind of notorious for that, and that's why people will put a powder product over top, but the color remains visible at the end of the day with no noticeable fading, caking, or separation. The finish stays soft and blurred, making it a reliable option if you want a bronzer that looks consistent from application to the wear. Summary: blendability 9 out of 10, buildability 8 out of 10, blurring effect 9 out of 10, longevity 9 out of 10. It applies easily with your fingers or a brush. It blends quickly to a soft matte finish. It lasts 10 plus hours. It is slightly tacky for layering and does not lift foundation or cake. It is multi-use. It can double as a brow pomade or contour depending on the shade, and has a flexible formula that works well with other creams and powders. So if you would like to apply this bronzer for a natural look, I would tell you the key is to start with a small amount and build it up. But that's the key with all makeup, anything, okay? So with the cream to powder formula, you'll just want to blend in thin layers and don't take your time, just get it on how you want to get it on. I don't know, again, why people are saying they have a hard time blending it out. So Use your fingertips or a stippling brush to lightly tap the bronzer onto the high points of your face. So that would be like the top of your cheeks, temples, along your hairline. So if you go in with a tapping motion, it'll keep the product diffused and prevent a harsh edge. I know I'll get that harsh edge at the top of my forehead along the hairline if I don't do it right. So that's very important. After placement, gently blend the product outward to soften the edges, and that'll really melt that bronzer into the skin. If you want a sheer skin-like result over a set foundation or just on bare skin, don't pack on too much all at one time. You really want to build gradually with any bronzer if you want to look sun-kissed and you don't want to look heavy. So summary, apply in thin layers for a natural sun-kissed effect. Tap instead of swipe for diffused, soft edges. Use fingertips or a stippling brush for control. Build gradually over time. And, build it whether you're doing just a foundation look, a bare skin look. And then we'll get into the pros and the cons here. But I did rate it 5 out of 5 stars. So the pros, it is soft, bouncy mousse texture that melts into the skin. The cream to powder formula gives it a smooth, blurred matte finish. It is lightweight and comfortable on the skin. It is blendable and buildable from sheer to defined bronze. It works well with your fingers, a stippling brush, or sponge. It lasts 10 plus hours without fading or patching. It is slightly tacky for easy layering over cream or powder products. It can be used as bronzer, contour, or brow pomade, so it is versatile. It is affordable at the drugstore price. It is available online for you, and the shades do cover light to deep skin tones. So the cons, if you're fair skin, some of the deep shades may not work for you, like Holy Mocha and Toasty Maple. Cool Brew may barely show on fair skin. Right now it has limited store availability, and you might not like the slight tacky finish if you were expecting a full-on dry powder finish. I also have some frequently asked questions. So what on earth is a pudding bronzer texture? So those are usually soft, bouncy mousses that fall between a cream and a powder. They feel soft, cloud soft in the pan, and then they'll melt onto skin on contact for a smooth, blurred matte finish. The texture will allow for effortless blending and a natural sun-kissed look without being heavy. Is the Wet n Wild Pudding Bronzer good for oily skin? So yes, the cream to powder formula melts into the skin and dries to that soft matte finish, which will help it stay in place. So I have oily combo skin. My nose gets very oily. I contoured with this down on the nose. It stays. And it does layer without sliding around, and it doesn't become greasy. My nose becomes greasy, but the contour holds up. How do you apply Wet n Wild Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer? So you can apply it with your fingertips or stippling or some sort of dense brush that will fit into the pot. Tap the product onto the high points of the face and blend outward. Building in thin layers ensures a natural diffused finish without harsh edges. Is Wet n Wild Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer long wearing? So yes, it wears all day. It doesn't fade. It holds up for 10 plus hours without noticeable fading, caking, or separation. The color stays consistent and the finish remains soft and blurred throughout the day. Does the Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer dry down or stay tacky? It sets to a soft, powdery finish but retains a slight tackiness. This slight tackiness helps the product adhere to the skin and makes layering over other cream or powder products easy without disturbing the base makeup. Can you apply pudding bronzer with a brush or fingers? Yes, you can do both methods. It really just comes down to how much control you want to have, and do you worry about putting your fingers in a pot and having that be hygienic? So fingers will give you the soft diffused effect, while a brush or stippling tool offers more control and allows for precise placement and buildable coverage. Is the pudding bronzer good for dry or mature skin? I have neither, but I would presume that it would work. because how lightweight and flexible it is, and it doesn't have any shimmers that tend to collect in fine lines and make the lines more pronounced. It is very emollient, so it shouldn't cling to dry patches. Its cream to powder finish creates a smooth, blurred look that is flattering, hopefully, on dry and mature skin. How does this bronzer look over your foundation, your sunscreen, your whole beat, right? It layers seamlessly over your foundation or sunscreen without pilling or breaking apart. The formula blends easily and maintains a natural matte finish, making it versatile for different base products. Is the Wet n Wild Mother Fluffer Pudding Bronzer buildable? Yes, so you control the warmth, the pigment, if you want a more sculpted bronze, all of it. The formula builds gradually, making it hard to over apply, but easy to customize the intensity for different looks. Does the bronzer emphasize texture or pores? No, it blurs over the skin and gives a soft focus effect. It smooths the appearance of the skin and does not settle into pores or fine lines when applied correctly. So I will absolutely use these bronzers again and also use them as contour. I'm sure you will see that if you follow along on Instagram with my daily makeup looks. My favorite shades right now are Beige Please and Toasty Maple. So I'd love to hear if you're going to try any of these. What's your favorite shade? What do you think about them? And that is it. So I'm really loving the blush and the bronzers. So my first two big makeup tryouts of 2026 have gone very well. They are highly impressive, 5 out of 5 stars. The Wet n Wild has a hard time doing any wrong. And from here, I'm going to continue detailing all of the 2026 releases. So we have lots of lip color and chrome finishes coming up, and I'm very excited to talk about everything just boiling over about these different formulas and things that are new for the brand. So I hope you will stay here for that, and I'll see you next time.